Hey, I got a question for you. Who in the world taught us this? As Christian women, who taught us
I
this?
wanted to talk about something that I've been struggling with, honestly, a very, very long time. And it is the concept of being a nice, good Christian woman. And when I was younger, the term would have been a good Christian girl. Be a good Christian girl. I can literally remember my grandmother or my mom, someone when I was little telling me, "Be nice, Terry. Be nice." Have you heard of that? Be nice. And I think sometimes we think about being nice as something that I don't think God necessarily intended it to be. And I'm going to talk to you about it and let me know what you think. I've made my little notes, and I want to refer to my notes because I want to be clear about this, because I think that there is possible for me to be misunderstood, which I don't care that much. You know my heart, hopefully. But I've been thinking about a lot of the pressure on Christian women lately, and been journaling about it, thinking about it. And a lot of it is the way we've been socialized and taught, that we are always just to be nice when we disagree, nice when we're beat down, nice when we're mistreated, nice when we're betrayed, nice when people lie on us, nice when they turn their back on us, nice when our husbands are being selfish, nice when our coworkers are needing something when they could have told us they needed it the day before. Nice, 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 nice. And I think the whole concept of being nice has drained so many Christian women that we may see the residue of it, but not realize that what it is that they're drained. And by that I mean we see Christian women who are angry and bitter and eating their feelings, or not eating enough, or are isolating, or are substituting other things for what really fulfills them, which is God. And because of that, I think it perpetuates itself. I think our mamas and in my culture, big mamas, felt the same way, but they stuffed it. And they said, well, I'm just going to help this person. I'm just going to bake that cake. I'm just going to do what pastor says, or I'm just going to, yeah. And they confused, I think, niceness with being godly. And I think it's two different things. I think it's two different things. And so, I want to say this so carefully because I think it can be misunderstood. I don't think that God called us to be mean, ugly acting, harsh, short-tempered. I don't think he called us to be any of those. That's not what I'm saying. If you're hearing that, just close the video, because you won't hear anything else I say, because you're stuck in wrong land. Okay? But what I think he called us to become was something the opposite of being emotionally and physically depleted. I don't think he called on us to be making sure everybody is happy and comfortable all the time. And I don't think he modeled it, and I don't think that's what he called us to. So I frankly think that there is a difference between performance and being kind, because we can be kind, and I think kindness comes from our heart, or we can perform, which I think comes from our pride and need to look good and seem good and be called good. Those are two different things, and one is fake and one is false. Think about that. I think a lot of women are performing Christianity. I think maybe I am sometimes. I perform Christianity instead of living Christianity. I perform being pleasant when I'm really hurting and want to get on YouTube, which I have done, and say, it's hard out here in these streets. It's hard to be a pastor's wife, or to be a wife, or to be a mother, or to be a woman. It's hard. And I wrote down this quote that I do want to catch for you. And it's from a psychologist named Harriet Lerner. And she said, women are trained to disconnect from anger, to deny it, to fear it, and to apologize for it. And I think that that is so true. Men are praised for expressing themselves. We see little boys walk around, and we think it's cute when they have the little plastic men and they're fighting. It's cute, But when girls act that way, we're quick to correct them. And I think that because of that, because they didn't let us express who we were, or even in your Christian youngness, you may not have learned that you could feel things and be honest about what you feel. I think that's why there's a lot of frustrated Christian women out here, and frustrated wives, and frustrated mothers, and just frustrated women, whether you're a wife or a mother. I think that's it, because we've been taught how to smooth things over and how to go along just to get along. And then if you do that long enough, you're empty inside, and it manifests in other ways. You'll be that mean usher at church. You'll be that pastor's wife that everybody avoids because you're so hateful. And so, I think that it's something we got to talk about. I'm not posing to have the answer. I just want to start a conversation in your head. I don't have a big YouTube channel. I have, 40 people, 30 people on a good day. And I feel like if that's all that watches it, I came and clicked that on button for those people. It's just for those few that God sent me. And so I'm not expecting to change the world, but I do believe that God will have the person who's supposed to see this. And it's at you. And I'm going to tell you, I really believe the enemy doesn't want me to talk about this, because hope you don't hear it, but I had to go get a cough drop. I got really choked up. And I do know the difference between the enemy and God, because I get no pleasure out of saying what I'm saying. I just want to be a blessing. And I want women to be free. I want us to be free. It's a passion of mine. Today my boss was talking about youth ministry, and her eyes just lit up. But when I start talking about women's ministry, that's when my eyes light up. So all that to say, when I study the life of Jesus and look at the life of Jesus, I mean, there's been times where I've read things that he said, and I was like, dang, God, really? That's brutal. He said, you are vipers and generations of vipers. And then there were times where Jesus would give to people. He set boundaries. He let people know, this ain't the bus to be on, because I'm going to let you know. I mean, he set boundaries, and he was direct, and he knew how to get rest when he needed it. He knew how to step away from everybody, right? And go and get away. Why do women feel like we can't rest? We can't do that. It's like not enough times we talk about one who decided to sit at Jesus's feet. Jesus said she had the right part because she chose to be with him, where the other one was just busy. And they feel like they have to do it if pastor asks them, or a sister asks, the sister first lady or whatever, or pastor's wife asks them. They have to do it. No, you don't. You don't have to do it. You have to take care of yourself so you can be a vessel to God. And one thing when I studied the life of Jesus and God here on earth, he was always kind. He's always compassionate. He's always willing to bring encouragement, right? Always willing to reach out. And those are the things I think God calls us to do, is to reach out. But he also calls us to be direct like Jesus. He calls us to tell the truth and speak truth like Jesus. And he also wants us to set boundaries like Jesus. So Jesus corrected people. He confronted hypocrites. He turned things over when God was dishonored. And my favorite part, as I said, is he rested. He walked away from the crowds and said, you know what? I can't deal with you right now. He didn't say it like that. But he basically knew when to walk away. So we got to learn to speak the truth in love, like Ephesians 4:15. Got to learn to step away when we need to step away. to get recharged and to get rest. And I'll leave you with another quote. And I have it here as sociologist Arlie Harschild described emotional labor as the management of feeling to create a publicly observable facial and bodily display. That is so powerful. The management of feeling to create a publicly observable facial and bodily display. That's what emotional labor is. Labor, toil, work. So just because women aren't serving, they are constantly, doesn't mean that they're not constantly caring about the ministry or caring. So we got to take the pressure off to not only be nice all the time. I think women can be compassionate and still be honest. I think they can be godly and still set boundaries. So I think as Christian women, we can be compassionate like Jesus was. We can be set boundaries like Jesus did. And we can speak up for ourselves and say what we need. And just because you're at a table with a bunch of men at your church doesn't mean you always have to acquiesce and agree to everything they say. It's okay to say, I don't agree with that. That's not how I see that. And you can decide to say, okay, you guys go ahead and do what you want to do, but I don't agree with it. Let the record, maybe you don't say it with that face, but let the record reflect. I don't think it's right. And it's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that. That's how you get respect. That's how you earn respect. But it's also important not to feel like we always have to be the nice girl and the nice Christian to meet everybody's needs, and only to the detriment of our own. So many times I think the people that I know with high blood pressure, overweight, underweight, heart problems, migraines, could it be because they're trying to be nice all the time? And for years they've tried to do what other people needed them to do and be places people needed them to be, and it took a toll. Because it can take a toll. So, I just was thinking about that, and I wanted to see what you think. And I'm wondering, do you think Christian women feel pressure to always be nice in ways that are unhealthy? And what do you define as nice? Tell me in the comments. I'd like to know. I love to correct me if I'm wrong. I'd love to hear it. But I feel like God has given me this season and this channel to challenge some things for the good. Not just to get up here and be flamboyant, but to challenge things for the good and to kick against the norms for the good. So I pray that I've done that today. God bless you. Thanks for watching.